Man, Guy Ritchie really wanted to make a Mission Impossible movie, didn't he? Hi, this is a Drafthouse Diary for Thursday, March 2nd, 2023, when I went to the Alamo Drafthouse at Littleton's Aspen Grove to see Operation Fortune, Ruse de Guerre. Now that's kind of a mouthful of a title for what is really a fairly straightforward movie. This is an ensemble-driven spy thriller with a sense of humor. And speaking of the sense of humor, it seems to me as if for a while there, people were constantly surprised. Critics would always express some kind of surprise when Jason Statham would play one of his tough guy action roles with a sense of humor. Even though he's done that over and over, almost every role of Jason Statham's has had that kind of sense of humor right behind it. It's very self-aware. He knows what kind of character he's playing. Even the characters recognize some of the absurdity of it. And that really plays very well. Not only is Jason Statham playing this character with a certain self-awareness, the character himself has that kind of self-awareness and knows that he's playing a role and putting on a particular kind of appearance, a particular kind of demeanor. And a lot of that, of course, comes from all the interaction and banter among the people in this ensemble. What is especially strong is Cary Elwes and Jason Statham. Cary Elwes is kind of Jason Statham's character's boss, but that's a flexible concept. Let me back up a little bit, give you the lay of the land of this movie. The setup of the movie is the idea that the British government, the UK government, when it needs to take special undercover action without getting bogged down in paperwork, they use private contractors. Private contractors to do high-level counter-espionage secret agent type work. And Cary Elwes is, I gather, like the CEO, the head of one of these independent contractors. And Jason Statham, playing Orson Fortune, is his top operative, his team leader out in the field. So a lot of the humor is the boss, Cary Elwes, being exasperated with the demands of his team lead, even though he sticks with this team lead because Orson Fortune gets things done. And there's a lot of humor to be found in the banter and the interaction between Fortune and the other members of the team. Aubrey Plaza plays the American who is the new technology and operations type person on the team because their old one was poached by a different set of independent contractors. And Bugsy Malone plays kind of the utility jack of all trades who's very good with the rifle, but is also good with almost everything else that they need in the course of their craft. The plot begins with the theft of some kind of high-tech MacGuffin. Even our characters, even the people in the UK government who need to find this item and retrieve it, they don't know what it is. All they know is it's important, and it can't be good given the fact that all the wrong people are out there willing to pay lots of money to get their hands on it. And that kicks off this plot in which Orson Fortune and his team need to find out what this is, who's got it, who's trying to buy it, and retrieve it. Most of what follows unfolds like a typical spy movie. There are scenes of investigation and undercover operations punctuated by action set pieces and some good fight scenes. And it all comes together pretty well, and that pace does keep you going and keep you engaged and pulls you through the movie very well. And it is fun to see all of these actors play these characters. I talked about Jason Statham. Cary Elwes plays the put-upon boss he's just as smart as Orson Fortune and just as smart as everybody else. And yet his job is to be the aloof guy who has to deal with the bills and who has to be the guy in the van sometimes when there is an undercover operation going on. Aubrey Plaza plays the person with the snarky attitude who's very, very good at what she does. It's kind of a typical Aubrey Plaza character in that way. But this being a spy adventure, we also get to see her in some cool action scenes. We get to see her being the glamorous and sexy person undercover. It's kind of fun to see these actors get a chance to play bigger roles like that. Bugsy Malone, he's a solid member of this ensemble, and he he's the kind of character who takes great satisfaction in being where he needs to be, when he needs to be there, and showing when it counts how good he is at what he does. And this brings me to the other main cast members who are playing roles that aren't part of this team of super spies. We've got Josh Hartnett playing Danny Francesco. And Danny Francesco is an actor, and the team needs to enlist his help because they need to get close to a super billionaire bad guy. And the one way they might be able to get close is the fact that this guy is like the world's biggest fan of Danny Francesco. So they need to bring Danny in and have him essentially play himself while using the fact that he's getting into the good graces of the bad guy. To be honest, the film seems to grind to a halt whenever this character is on screen. It's nothing about Josh Hartnett's performance. I think he does a good job. It's just not much of a character. The movie star who plays action heroes but is kind of incompetent and not very bright, it's not a very original kind of character. They don't do anything particularly original with it. It brings the movie down. I think they could have written a lot of this same story without having that aspect, or they could have decided or found some way to do something interesting and different with this Danny Francesco character, and they don't manage that. On the other hand, we have Hugh Grant, who's playing this billionaire who's involved in the purchase of the MacGuffin that's been stolen. And Hugh Grant, it's fun to watch Hugh Grant play bad guys these days, and he seems to be doing more and more of that. In this one, he's playing a bad guy who is, it's like he's constantly doing a Michael Caine impression. It's the kind of character that he's playing. It seemed a little over the top at first, but once I decided to just go with it, it was fun. It was a fun character. Even the accent was kind of fun. It's over the top. The character is over the top, but in a way that's believable. It's believable that this billionaire, this multi-billionaire, who has everything he might possibly want, who's involved in shady things, is terribly amused by all of his own jokes. Yeah, that's going to be an over-the-top character, and Hugh Grant plays that character very well. So he's somebody who elevates that movie. And where we see Josh Hartnett's character interacting with Hugh Grant's character, fortunately, the energy that Hugh Grant brings wins out, and those scenes are pretty good. In the end, this is not earth-shattering cinema. With a title like Operation Fortune Ruse de Guerre, I have the distinct impression that there were thoughts of turning this into a franchise, making more of these. And I'll tell you, if they make more of these movies, I will absolutely go to see them. If they don't make any more of these movies, I can't say that I'm going to be terribly disappointed. This is the kind of movie that I'm entertained by fully while I'm watching it, and I don't give it a whole lot of thought after the credits run. I'm sure it's going to be available streaming soon, and if it sounds like your kind of thing, it might be worth a try. So, it's a Drafthouse Diary. Other parts of my visit to the Aspen Grove Alamo. The pre-roll, it wasn't a custom pre-roll specifically for this movie. I believe I've seen it before. I know I've heard people talking about it before. It was an assembly of clips and trailers from action movies. Lots of non-English language action movies. Lots of Indian and Eastern European action movies, including one with this amazing chase scene that involves a chase where the hero is on a horse and does this slide with the horse under a semi-trailer. It was a very entertaining pre-roll, and it definitely gets one into the mood for a movie like this. Oh, it also included the trailer for the movie Jim Kata, the martial arts action movie starring Olympic gymnastics champion Kurt Thomas. The food, I had the Philly cheesesteak again. I had tried that once before at the Westminster Alamo when I went to see the Whitney Houston biopic, I Want to Dance with Somebody. And as I mentioned in my review there, I was a little disappointed because it seemed a little bit thin, it seemed a little bit small, and the seasoning was not mixed very well. It was very unevenly seasoned. So I decided to try it again, and also to try it at a different location, and I'm glad I did because this was a much better Philly cheesesteak sandwich. It was still a little bit smaller and thinner than I would have expected, just comparing it to other sandwiches that you can order at the Alamo. But it seemed hotter. It seemed like it was seasoned better and more consistently, so it was a pretty good Philly cheesesteak. I'm glad I tried it again. Maybe it's just that Aspen Grove has a better kitchen. Maybe it's just that the one that I got at Westminster was a fluke, but we'll see. The theater was in fine shape. The staff, very friendly, very efficient. There was some kind of a dispute or a confrontation going on at the main desk at the front of the theater between, I gather, a customer and the manager who was there behind the desk. I have no idea what it was about. It seemed to me that the manager was handling it very well. I mention it only because that's a rarity to see anything like that going on at an Alamo, but it's a customer-facing business. I'm sure that happens more often than we would know. And it seems like they handled it well. I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, please consider clicking like down below. If you want more Drafthouse Diaries in the future, please click subscribe. But most important, thank you very much for watching today. I'll be back soon with more Drafthouse Diaries. And until then, enjoy your movies. And when you do, stay till the end of the credits.